Welcome to this week's edition of the Inside Track. We're more than a quarter of the way through the year already, so let's get straight into what's happening in the world of dairy. So I think firstly it's important to note that the fundamentals of the market haven't changed. Still strong demand across the globe and supply is constrained. We did see a little bit more milk come through in New Zealand in March due to improved weather conditions, but we're at that stage in the season now where it's really not going to make a significant impact on the availability of products between now and the new season in September. EU and US supply is still down and struggling, especially in the EU. So the overall message that we are suggesting is to ensure you have supply over the following 6 months from now until September. We are in for a little bit of a choppy ride, we believe, over these next few months. Why is that? Well, we've just seen China go into probably a significant lockdown due to COVID over the last few weeks. That has really impacted their demand or importing of all dairy products, but significantly whole milk powder. Why is that? Well, we think it's because the logistics within China mean that most of the internal milk is now being turned into powders and products, and therefore less is being imported for the moment. How's that going to play out? We're really going to have to watch and see and keep a close eye on this over the next couple of weeks. The other thing is that these high prices, we're definitely seeing that customers are only buying when they really have to. So demand is starting to hit a little bit of a ceiling on certain products. Let's go for each of those individually. So first up, whole milk powder. Regular whole milk powder has definitely softened over the last couple of weeks, due mainly to the demand out of China. China buys typically up to 50% of the product out of New Zealand, and that's not happened. That demand's been picked up elsewhere in the world, but not as much. So there's definitely a softening of whole milk, and we'll have to watch that Chinese situation carefully. The thing to note here is there's not a lot of instant full cream around, so there's a big price differential now between regular and instant full cream, almost $2,000 per metric ton. So again, there's not going to be a lot around of this instant full cream for the next few months. That's part of it because of the products that you use to make instant full cream are not available. So again, that's the one that I would focus on if you require supply. On to skim milk powder. Amazingly now, skim milk powder is priced in some regions higher than regular full cream milk powder. Demand for skim remains very strong, and there is very little skim around across the globe. We don't see that changing for the next few months, so definitely securing supply of skim at this stage would be recommended. So butter and fats, this product is made aligned with skim. The milk flows into skim and one of the fats. So we're seeing a similar trend. There's not a lot of products available. We're seeing nothing coming out of the EU or the US, so that's putting pressure on demand in Oceania. We don't expect there to be a lot of products available in the next few months. However, we are starting to see that demand at these levels, at these prices, is pushing people only to buy when they really need to. So on to cheddar and the cheeses. I think we're seeing a resurgence now of food service, both in Oceania and in the US. US prices are very bullish. That's pushing prices up into Oceania too. We expect this to continue definitely over the next few months. Finally, onto the whey-based products. What we found is that given the constraints in supply and production, last season in the EU and the US, they both finished this season with very, very low stocks and still contracts to supply. So they're still trying to catch up. So therefore we see that definitely for these next 6 months, supply of all products, whey-based products, will be limited and will be constrained by supply. That's it for this week's edition of the Inside Track. Have a lovely Easter and time with the family. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time.